everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this wonderful morning. My name is Kuala, and I'm very honored to moderate this event. So, our panel discussion today will be focusing on the Housewife Swan book series, and I'll cover and follow for many people it has accompanied them beyond the focusing abroad in the and the book not only write about offering solace to the soul, but most importantly, these books emphasize on solving perspectives. So today we also have the pleasure to not only go into the research of these books, but ask directly the authors, who I'm very honored to introduce. First of all, we have Utama. 28-year career.
Kenapa dia macam tak pernah dengar? Problem tu. Betul orang tak dengar.
Including 5 anthologies and 2 novels. Next, we have Ms. Okay, this is better. So I will just do the whole introduction because it's only fair for me to introduce my panel properly. Alright, so again, welcome to the panel of Comfort Soul Books discussion. We will go into the books that have offered solace not only to many people, but also to help us to look into the Islamic perspective of healing the soul. So it is my honor to introduce our panelists. First and foremost, we have Puan Nur Hafiza, or better known as Puan Umu, and she's a distinguished educator in biology and science with an illustrious 28-year of career until her early retirement in 2014. An alumna of Kuala Menengah Science Lumpur College in England and the University of Salford, she had earned her degree in biology and made significant contributions in the literature world post-retirement. So under the pen name of Umu Ahmadain, which means the mother of 2 Ahmads, she has published 15 books, both in Bahasa Melayu and English, including 5 anthologies and 2 novels. And next we have Ms. Sharifah Nadira, a renowned full-time author and a passionate poet whose influence extends across social media platforms where she engages in discussions on self-healing, mental health, empowerment, and personal growth. She is a dedicated mental health advocate where she focuses on empowering Muslim women through impactful writings, and I am honored to introduce that she holds a bachelor degree in optometry and has enhanced her expertise with certifications in psychology, philosophy from prestigious international universities. And finally, last but definitely not least, we have Ms. Kelly Kelly. Ms. Kelly, born and raised in Selangor, and she has nurtured a profound love for her books since childhood. And her passion, coupled with her interest in psychology, led her to pursue a degree in the field of psychology at the University of Malaysia, Sabah, from which she graduated during the pandemic. And currently, she works as a freelance writer specializing in psychology and personal growth, perfectly aligning with her introverted and free-spirited nature. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, and my distinguished panelists, every day, and especially right now in the book industry world, we heard the word healing so many times. And even more so, but we do not undermine the importance, especially in this fast-paced and challenging world. I would like to dive right in and ask our beloved Puan Umu, what does comforting the soul mean to you personally, and why do you think it matters in today's world?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you first and foremost for giving support to this Comfort Healing series book. To me, if you ask why is comfort soul, what it means to me personally is that in today's world, everybody is looking for results. They are only aiming for results. How you get to that results, it does not really matter to them. They just want the results. So when I was teaching, I had several occasions where I had to face situations which go against my principles or which I'm not comfortable with. And in today's world, there is no one there is hardly anybody who has time to listen to our heart-to-heart talk. So, comforting the soul becomes a personal thing to me. And I think it is important in the world today because of the nature of this world today. Everybody is rushing. Nobody has time for the other person. So, what comfort soul means to me, privately or personally, is that I resort to comforting myself when situations are stressful by either going back to God, meditating, praying for Him for His help, or by reciting the Quran, which is in itself is something that is calming, and also by reading books or motivational books in the form of comfort healing, where the writers comfort us by giving advice but without judging us. So that's it.
Yes. And I agree, basically the nature of the soul is to be at peace. And when people come to books like the ones that you write in the series, it is a reminder for them to also remember there is a source of peace and this is how we find it. And one who also mentioned about how personally it is important to her. And if many of you, if you have read any of the books from the Comfort Soul series, you will find that one thematic approach to telling the stories is also sharing personal stories. So I would like to ask Ms. Sharifah Nadira, how would you describe the significance of sharing personal experience or stories in making your writing more comforting to the readers? And how do you balance having authenticity and vulnerability in doing so?
Thank you, Idayu, for the question. And also thank you to Public Press for having me here, and also for everybody that had come today. Thank you very much. To answer the question just now, what I can see in these series of books, which name as Comfort Souls, the messages that exist in every book is there to actually comfort your soul, your human soul. And for my own personal writing, what I can see is that when we share stories, when we share our experience, when we share our emotions, when we share our feelings, regardless of vulnerability, regardless of being fear, regardless of having fear inside of us, it really helps people out there. Even one person, if our writing managed to reach one person, it really helps a lot. So what I'm trying to say is that the stories that we have, the things that we had gone through in life, sometimes we think that we are all alone facing that, but somehow we forgot that there are also many people out there who are also going through the darkness, who are also struggling, who are also going through the pain. They are also trying to deal with their scars, trying to deal with their traumas, trying to deal with every hurtful thing that had happened in life. And when I was in my darkest moment, when I was in my relapse in having anxiety disorders, what I had learned at that time is that I seek a friend who had also gone through the same experience. I seek books where the writers and also authors shared the same experience, and somehow within their stories I found faith. I found how to reconnect with God again. And that is how I want to do. That is how I intend to write in my books when it reach the readers out there, which is they will no longer feel lonely anymore. They will not feel alone when they read my books. And also, to answer the other question, which is how did I balance between vulnerability and also authenticity? What I will always tell myself is, in the past, when I started to write, I would always think that how much of myself should I put into my writing? How much? So somehow, at that very moment, my husband always told me, do not let fear hold you back from writing the things that people want to hear. So at that very moment, I really tried my best on writing within the limitations that I have, and just try to let go of things gradually. It's not easy actually. It's never easy to allow the parts in you to enter the book, to be on the book, to be written. But somehow, as a writer, as an author, you do have to put that parts of you inside the book. Yeah, I think. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And I think you would also, what I echo is that not only people who have published books, or even people who are here who might have journals in your own personal, private capacity, sometimes when you write the very thing that might make you feel nervous to write, but you also write it anyway because it's the truth, because it's going to help someone, eventually we realize that it's that very thing that actually help ourselves or other people. So when we speak of this, sometimes what not only readers, but us ourselves, what we want to hear is that you're worthy, you're deserving, like the title of your book. So these are things that are very simple words, but we need to hear. And these are not just words, it makes a huge impact when we believe in these words to ourselves. So Ms. Kelly, can you share with us also perhaps any advice or practices that you personally find helpful for nurturing the soul and finding inner peace during difficult times?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First and foremost, thank you for PBAKL and Today Press for inviting me and the writers to be here and for organizing this discussion. Thank you to everyone who has come here and are spending time with us today, this morning. So, in my book, I highlight that there are two important relationships that one can have. Firstly, your relationship with Allah. Secondly, your relationship with yourself. Why is it important? So, first and foremost, why your relationship with yourself is important is because you will be with yourself for the rest of your life. People come and go in your life, and even for our beloved ones, like our parents, our spouses, or our children, they are there. They are there for a long time, but they won't be there forever. And even with such close and beloved people around us, there are just some aspects in our life that we just have to go through it alone. So, first and foremost, you need to take care of your relationship with yourself. And secondly, your relationship with Allah, of course, is the obvious because Allah is our God. Allah is the Creator. If you have a good relationship with Allah, you will have Allah by your side. So there is nothing else that will affect you. There's nothing else that will harm you. If Allah is your God, He could split the seas for you just like He did with Prophet Musa. If Allah is with you, He can split the moon for you just like how He did for Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So I think taking care of those two relationships is important. So let me give you an example. Let's say you are at your workplace and you did some mistakes and your boss may scold you. it happens. But along the lines, maybe your boss will something just like, oh, you never do anything right. So that would make us feel down a bit. It will make us feel unworthy, feel undeserving. So what would happen in that moment if we have strong relationship with ourselves, we can view ourselves objectively. For example, even the word, even the sentence, you never do anything right. 30 years of living, 40 years of living, you didn't do one single thing right. Like, of course, that is objectively not true. And so it helps us to focus, it helps us, so rather than we dwell in that feeling of, like I'm not perfect, and it may cause us to be depressed. Instead, we can focus by looking at objectively and we see, oh, here's the thing that I need to improve. Here's the mistake, here's how I should own up to it and such. Secondly, if you have a strong relationship with Allah, Allah alone is the one who judges you. People can put labels around you. Of course, when people, point out our mistakes, we have to take their feedback and improve. But if people point us out with labels, it's easy to feel discouraged by the labels. But we know that, Allah ultimately knows anything. Allah knows whether I am in fact never do anything right or not. Even if you think like you have done a lot of things not right, you know that Allah emphasizes more on you improving yourself rather than dwelling on your mistakes. So yeah, I think if you take care of those two relationships, it will be easier for you to find your inner peace despite your mistakes.
Those are two very solid advice. And it's always good to be reminded of the very fundamental things, that is taking care of our relationship with ourselves and with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alright, so those are some insightful, although concise sharings by our panel on what does it mean to complete the soul. And now let's go deeper into the books, especially the new ones that are being published by our authors here. And let's start with one of the latest books in the series, that is Perfect Imperfections, Honoring Flaws as Human Nature. So one in your latest book, for this one, it delves into accepting one's shortcomings as part of being human. So how does faith provide comfort in navigating these deeply personal challenges with one's imperfections in nature?
My latest book is called Perfect Imperfections. It talks about the imperfections and flaws in our nature. Until I saw these words from Allah, which states that He has created us in perfect mold. So it sparks a question in me, what He meant by creating us in perfect mold when we are so full of imperfection. For example, I know for one, I'm an impatient person. I have weaknesses. Sometimes I forget to be grateful to Allah. So why did Allah say that He has created us in perfect modes? So the first thing that comes to my mind is that the specialty of being a believer, a Muslim or Muslimah. Because there is a saying by our Prophet, beloved Prophet Muhammad SAW, which I shall paraphrase. He says that strange are the believers, outstanding are the believers. This is paraphrasing, okay? He says that when something good happens to a believer, he thanks Allah, he or she thanks Allah, and that is good for him. And when something bad befalls a Muslim, he is patient, and that is better for him. Now this proclamation by our Prophet ﷺ is exclusive only for Muslims. Only we have that advantage. So from there, it becomes easier as a starting point to understand what Allah means by us being made in a perfect mold. And then Prophet ﷺ also said that this religion Islam is easy. So if anyone who makes it difficult, he will become overwhelmed. So I say, yeah, that's true. I used to berate myself, scold myself as to why I'm so impatient. When I was teaching, why is it that I cannot understand my students when they act up? So the reason after contemplating that, for me to write this book is that Allah purposely made us imperfect, full of imperfections, and that is the perfection of His creation. We are made imperfect with so many flaws, so many weaknesses. Some of us are quarrelsome, some of us are impatient, some of us are tight with our money. The reason being is that Allah is giving us a chance to admit our weaknesses, to confront Him and say, oh God, I'm so weak. I don't want all these bad flaws. Please help me overcome. And Allah, as we all know, His mercy overcomes His wrath. That is what He wants, for us to willingly come back to Him, admit our weaknesses, and ask His guidance to become better human beings. So that is the faith that I hold, according to the Quran and Sunnah, as to why we must not be too harsh on ourselves. Allah has made us that way for a purpose. So when talking about comforting the soul, just now as I comfort my soul, I tell myself, be kind to myself first, then I can be kind to others. Be good to myself first, then I can be good to others. Okay. In acknowledging in full humility and humbleness that why I am so flawed is because Allah has made me flawed. That is His program. But how can I make myself better? Is by admitting my own weaknesses. Admitting my own weaknesses, my own flaws, and asking Him back as our Creator, please guide me. That is what I feel for writing this book.
That is a beautiful sharing. The fact that when we are in need of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is the whole perfect relationship. Because Allah, His nature is that He gives, He provides, He grants us sufficiently, and we have to be in need in order so that we can benefit also from His attributes, while He is never in need of us. So one of the things that we are also in need for is that the fact that we are always vulnerable to pain and also to insecurities, and there are at least 2 books on the series that inshallah myself and all of us can benefit. That is the book Embracing the True You and Making Sense of Unseen Pain by Mr. Irfan Alir. And both of these books, at least both of these books, and also perhaps the others, explore the journey of self-acceptance amid internal suffering. So perhaps you can share with us what are some key insights that you hope readers will uniquely find in these books compared to your other works.
So last year I published Embracing True You. It is a book where it is a book about finding your own authenticity, finding your originality, regardless of the people that hold expectations towards you, regardless of the unhealthy circles that surrounds you, across families, friends, co-workers, and etc. So what really binds me a lot to the book, the title of this book, Embracing the True, is that it really resonates a lot to me. Because I've gone through phases of life where under appreciation and also lack of encouragement not having the sufficient support is what I have grown through and also raised with. So I don't have that much confidence in me in doing things that I love and wanting to do the things that I really to do, and also not able to find the right circle when I was in my university days, during my college years, even during my school years. So it had really gave me the inspiration to write about finding yourself, finding your talent, finding your strength, embracing your weakness, embracing your imperfections, and also all the things that you feel that you don't like about yourself. These are actually the things that will give you wisdom in making you to grow, in making you to flourish, in being a companion for you to thrive, and also to be who you are to be. And this is the key insight of embracing the true you, regardless of everything that you hate about yourself, regardless of everything that you don't want to, regardless of everything that you don't want to have inside of you. I really believe that those are the things that had helped to mold your character, that helped to allow you to see opportunities in the future, and also allowing you to learn the lessons, the gemstones that you had in the past. So this is what embracing the true is about. It is to embrace the authentic you, the true you, your true self. So as for making sense of the Unseen Pain, a book that I've just published this year, probably a month ago. So this book is about mental health awareness. I really specify everything in it on those who had struggled with mental health problems and also mental illness. In this century, we can see that many of us are going through anxiety, going through depression, going through things which we call as unseen pain. They are unseen pain which people cannot even understand. When you're having chronic pain, physical pain, such as diabetes or heart problems, we can see that they are physically there. When you amputate your arm, we can see that it's visible to the naked eye. But when you have the pain that you've gone inside of you, it cannot be seen. Thus, it causes stigma. People will find it really hard to understand when you have this kind of condition. And me myself as a peer, I had also went through a journey of recovery where I was diagnosed with anxiety disorder and also OCD, where I had met many psychiatrists and also many psychologists, changing medication up to a point where I want to find the right recovery phase, the right people where I can seek help to. And in this book itself, I also highlight the stigma, which the common stigma faced by people who had gone through mental health problems, starting from family support, the stigma that exists in the Islamic community, and also towards the healthcare system. So it is all being highlighted inside there. And the key highlight inside this book is for you to know that even though you have mental health problems, even though you have the unseen pain inside of you, I would want you to know that you are also human, and the limitations that you have is not equals to weakness, but it is actually for me an advantage for you to dive deeper inside yourself and find the hidden gems inside of you. For me, having mental health problems or mental illness is not something that you should be ashamed of, because we have historical figures. For example, Albert Einstein, he does have that kind of condition, but he is a renowned historical figure now, so maybe you can be too. So I think that's all.
Yes, so I also believe that part of embracing your true self is also committing to knowing yourself, understanding yourself, and doing all the healing programs that we need to do as a community, inshallah. And many of the times, regardless of which stage or age we are at in life, we would always be in need of the sense of feeling deserving and feeling worthy, because when in order for us to have good perception of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His plans in our life, we also have to perceive anything that happens in our life with a positive light and optimism. So that feeling of worthiness and deservingness is very crucial. So Miss Nyati, can you share with us what does your book suggest in terms of cultivating a sense of worthiness and deservingness from a spiritual perspective?
Okay, this is way louder. Alright, so I am actually inspired to write this book from a feeling that I think we are all too familiar with. I think that, I've done so many sins, I've done so many mistakes. Will Allah forgive me? Am I still worthy of Allah's forgiveness? Am I still worthy of Allah's love? In what we would say in bahasa Melayu is, aku ni banyak dosa, Tuhan ampunkan aku ke? Betul tak? So, the humility is there, and the humility is good. But you need to remember that Shaitan has its own ways of bringing us astray from Him. And we usually think about it when it comes to the temptations of Shaitan. We would think like, making sins fun, or tempting us to do these rebellious and wacky things. That is definitely one of the ways, but that is actually a stereotype. Shaitan, in fact, Allah has, Shaitan has lived longer than us. He knows humanity better than we do. He knows what works for each and every one of us. And one foolproof way for him to get us astray from Allah is through the feeling of despair, the feeling of unworthy and undeservingness. Because the moment you think, I have too many sins, Allah will never forgive me. Know that those thoughts did not come from you, did not come from your own head, it comes from Shaitan. Because Shaitan has definitely promised Allah that He will lead us astray. So that is one way how He hijacked our humility. So I think I like to call it hijack. Hijack. Because having humility is good. No one is perfect. You shouldn't think like our good things are above other people. But there are ways that Shaitan will actually hijack that thing. It will start with some basic humility, but then we will lose motivation to pray, to even read Quran. We're thinking that, I only read one page, Allah wouldn't even like it. I'm already missing a few prayers, just a few more prayers. So this is his way, his very subtle way of distancing ourselves from Allah. So it shouldn't be happening that way. I like when Hafiza said just now, on one hand it's good to have humility, to think that, our deeds will never be enough for heaven. But the thing is, no one is perfect, right? Allah did not create anyone perfect. There's always imperfection within us. Even for our beloved Prophet ﷺ, we all know he is indeed maksum, he is indeed clear of any sins, but it doesn't mean that he is free from mistakes as well. We need to differentiate that, right? Mistakes and sins. So he ﷺ is clear and free from any sins. But we can see ourselves in the Quran, how Allah actually corrects him a little bit when along the prophethood of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu. For example, if you read Surah Al-Kahfi, there's an incident of him forgetting to say inshallah when promising someone. So Allah corrects him in that ayat. So there's also another incident of Rasulullah is giving dawah to a very high elite member of the society, but there's another blind man wanting to come to him, and he was interested in Islam more than this high elite figure. So Allah actually tells in Surah Al-Masad that you shouldn't turn your face away for the people who are generally interested in Islam. So I think that's why it's important for us to cultivate that sense of deserving and worthiness. To know that yes, we make mistakes, yes, we have sins, but we are deserving of Allah's love, Allah's rahmah, Allah's mercy, despite of our mistakes. Allah sees us beyond our mistakes. In fact, Allah creates all of this world full of imperfections for us to feel that imperfections with us longing to Him, with us praying back to Him. That's why I really like when you say Kuala Visa. It's because it really connects. So I hope this inspires like all of you that Allah sees us beyond our achievements, beyond our worthy accolades, beyond anything really. Just the fact that you are here, you are alive, that alone is to make you worthy and deserving of Allah, and even more great things coming your way. So why do we need to feel worthy? Why do we need to feel deserving? Because you are worthy and you are deserving.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kelly, for their very motivational remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not always every day that we get to do this. I'm very honored. Thank you to Team TS and to Press. And I believe all of our panelists and all of you here who are willing to sit here and listen to us. I believe that you have final words, not only to people who are perhaps in a place where they are heartbroken. Maybe we are in a good phase of life, but we just need to keep going and be grateful and continue to be a good servant of Allah and a good fellow human being. So I would like to ask all of our panelists to perhaps take 1 to 2 minutes to give your final remarks to our fellow audience for spending your time today, and any final message that you have to give. We can start with you, Kuala.
I write these things, these topics, because they are the things that are nearest to me. I'm perpetually thinking about how to be a good person, how to correct my flaws and everything. So, in so doing, the first thing that I will always tell myself and tell people who ask about the greatness of Allah is us being grateful to Him. My first book with BTS is about gratitude, how it has helped me make sense of my life. So many, I'm advanced in age, and throughout my life, so many things have put me or made me question, why me? Until by the grace of Allah, He has helped me to see. All He wanted from me was admit your flaws, admit your mistakes, admit your weaknesses, and go back to Him. So, for me, apart from perfect imperfections, the first thing that I think we should all endeavor to have is to be grateful to Allah. There's just no counting how many blessings He has given us. And then once I knew that, I start questioning why Allah made us imperfect. Once again, the answer was to me to go back to Him, be grateful. Okay, we make sins, and the Prophet ﷺ says, if We are a group of people who never make sins. Who have no sins at all. It's very simple. Rasulullah says, Allah will change us for a group of people, with a group of people who do make sins. And best thing is that they make sins and go back to Him, asking Him for His mercy, asking Him for His guidance. So at this stage of my life, that is what is most important to me. Getting to know Allah and going back to Him.
Miss Kelly, you can share.
Okay, again, thank you very much to those of you who come here and hear our discussion. Thank you for staying here until the end. It's an honor for me to be here with these great honors. Basically, is actually one of our authors as well. You know, to those of you who are wondering, she is Utama's author as well. Because I've started writing since 2017, which means it's been 7 years since I was writing. From 2017 until 2023, I was there. And there, randomly there. I was just there listening to this author's talk and dreaming of being here. So now in 2024, I am actually here. It felt very surreal. And Alhamdulillah, first and foremost, it's all thanks to Allah. So we are all the others. We are just the medium for Allah to touch your hearts, to inspire you. So we hope that the Prophet series of Putih Press will help you alleviate your relationship with Allah. Will revitalize how you see yourself with Allah and how it helps you to embrace yourself, embrace your mistakes, and embrace your imperfections, and finally knowing despite all of your flaws and all of your sins, you are in fact deserving. So thank you.
Thank you very much for those who had come today. And maybe my last remarks would be that for anybody who is going through a hard time, going through hardships, I would like to say that you can make sense of the unseen pain. You can make art of the pain itself, and also by then you can listen to the whispers of wisdom, and by that you can embrace yourself and attain gratitude, and to know at last that you are deserving, and know that your soul is really precious to you. Thank you.
That's a beautiful review of all of the books. I would like to say thank you, and thank you to Umi Ahmadani, Miss Kelly, and Miss Sharifah Nadira for your time today. And our major thanks to, can we give a round of applause to Team Putih Press and PTS for making this session possible? Because ladies and gentlemen, the most important asset that we can invest in is our soul. Not even our material things, other things come secondary, our soul comes first. And comforting the soul is not only the name of the session, it is also in the Quran that Allah always says that if you need peace, like come back to me, I'm always near to you. And there's always cure to all the heartbreaks and all the pain that we have. And inshallah, we are so honored, myself included, and all the other authors in the Comfort Soul series, to be part of this series where hopefully our writings can help you as a friend. And we look forward to also welcome you have not gotten your hands on all of the books. You can go to Pavilion PTS, I believe it's level 4. And we look forward to your reviews inshallah, and we will meet again next time. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and have a wonderful day.